So you did it. You got the grant. That's fantastic. But after the celebration, it starts to sink in. Now you actually have to manage it. And that, well, that's where the real work begins. Getting this part right is absolutely the difference between a successful project and a total compliance headache. So let's break down exactly what you need to do step by step.
You know that feeling, right? You get that amazing notification, and for a minute, it's just pure excitement. But then, this big question mark pops up. Okay, now what? It's a super common feeling, but don't worry. We are going to replace all that uncertainty with a crystal clear roadmap so you know exactly where you're headed. Here's what we're going to cover. We'll start with the big picture, the entire grant life cycle. Then we'll zoom in on the three main stages: the setup, the active management phase, and the closeout. And we'll wrap up by introducing you to the team that's got your back. Okay, so the very first thing you need to know is that at WCU, you are not flying solo on this. Award management is a genuine partnership between you, the principal investigator, and the Office of Research Administration, or ORA. Seriously, think of them as your co-pilots, helping you navigate this whole thing from takeoff to landing. And that whole journey really breaks down into these three core stages you see here. First, there's the award and account setup, which is all about building a solid foundation. Then comes the financial management phase. That's the long haul where you're running your project. And finally, award closeout, where you tie up all the loose ends. Let's start right at the beginning. All right, let's dive into stage one, award setup. This part is all about laying a solid, compliant foundation for everything that comes next. Getting this stage right is crucial, so let's take a look at what's really involved. First things first, let's manage some expectations on timing. The full setup process, from start to finish, can easily take 4 to 6 weeks. And this isn't just shuffling papers. It's a really detailed process that depends on how complex your award is. So you've got to plan for this gap before you can actually start spending any money.
A huge milestone in this stage is creating your Awarded Budget of Record, or ABOR. Just think of this as the final, official financial blueprint for your entire project. It's what perfectly matches your proposal with what the sponsor actually awarded, and it assigns specific account codes so every single dollar is tracked correctly.
And it is so important to understand that this is a team sport. As you can see, while the ORA is handling all the formal agreements and the high-level compliance stuff, you're the one on the ground, finalizing that budget with them, coordinating with HR on hiring, and making sure your whole team gets all that required training done. Okay, so your foundation is set, your account is live, you've had your kickoff meeting, and now you are officially in stage two, active financial management. This is the longest part of your project. It's when you're actively spending, tracking, and reporting on everything. Now, this right here illustrates a really important habit to get into, the two-budget system. You'll keep your own spreadsheet or tool for day-to-day spending, your shadow budget. At the same time, Aura provides official reports. Your job is to constantly reconcile these two. And why is that so critical? Because you only have a 60-day window to catch and correct any errors. Checking regularly keeps tiny mistakes from snowballing into huge problems.
You know, things change. It's inevitable. And when they do, you'll need to submit what's called a prior action request, or a PAR. And listen, this next part is a non-negotiable, hard and fast rule. You cannot contact the sponsor directly to ask for changes. ORA is the institution's official go-between, and they handle these requests to protect both you and the university.
You'll use PARs for all sorts of things, like shifting money in your budget, changing key people, or asking for a no-cost extension. The big takeaway here is you have to be proactive. Getting sponsor approval can take weeks, sometimes even months. So the second you even think you might need a change, you need to get in touch with the post-award team. Now, beyond just tracking the budget, you've got a few other key duties on your plate. You'll need to officially certify your time and effort on the project 3 times a year. And, ultimately, you are the one responsible for getting all those technical progress reports submitted to the sponsor on time. And that brings us to the grand finale, project closeout. You know, crossing the finish line is a lot more than just spending the last dollar. It's a really detailed, rigorous process that is every bit as critical as the setup and management phases were. You've got to pay close attention to this timeline. The closeout process officially kicks off 120 days. That's 4 months before your project's end date. You're going to start getting emails from the post-award team, and please, these are not junk mail. They have critical deadlines and instructions, like the fact that your purchasing card gets frozen for the project in that final 30-day stretch.
So this is basically your closeout to-do list. You'll have a mandatory meeting. You'll need to coordinate with HR to handle any staff whose jobs are funded by the grant. And you have to make sure every single recurring charge, we're talking phones, printing, whatever, gets transferred off the grant before it officially closes out.
So, as you've seen, this whole thing is a pretty complex life cycle. But if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's that you are not alone. The Office of Research Administration is your dedicated partner through this entire journey, from start to finish. From that very first account setup all the way to filing the final report, the ORA post-award team is there providing these core services. They really are the guardrails on the road, helping you stay on track, navigate the tricky turns, and make sure your project gets to its destination successfully. So the bottom line is this: be proactive and communicate. Don't wait until you have a problem. If you have a question, even a small one, or concern, reach out to your support team right away. Here's all their contact information. Trust me, they want to help you succeed. With this roadmap in hand, managing a grant really becomes less about a bunch of administrative tasks and more about what it should be: enabling amazing research. You're equipped to lead a successful project. So now that you have the map, think about it. What's the very first step you're going to take on your grant journey?